as we approach Christmas, it's time to round off the year with a few updates. Something I really like doing, not just the unboxing style videos, but also the sort of long-term use. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I've had a couple of project jeans this year. Normally I tend to go for just one, but this year I had the opportunity to go for some nice indigo jeans from Companion over in Barcelona. These were actually custom made, so to my exact measurements. Check back on the video on those. I'll be doing an update of these very shortly, but tonight it's the double black jeans from MOMOTARO. So these are the B0105SP. These are in a 15.7 ounce Zimbabwean double black sulfur dyed denim. Both these jeans I've worn probably since February, March time, so 9 months or so. I think for the reasons of consistency, I'd probably call this probably a 6-month review, because my time has been shared between the two of them. So if you're watching this, this is probably where you might be able to get after 6 months of reasonably heavy wear. Obviously not wearing either pair every single day. I've got lots of other clothes and lots of other jeans to wear, but these have been my main project jeans from this year. So the MOMOTAROs, lovely jean, very happy with these. We'll get into the detail, but first of all, just talking about the denim itself. It was a really starchy denim. It's softened up quite a lot. It is sulfur dyed. Internet wisdom told me that would be slow fading. I've certainly had jeans which have faded faster, but that's not to say they haven't started to develop a nice little bit of character. And as I say, we'll get into that in some close-ups. Double black, sort of medium heavyweight. Washed these twice, so once a cold soak, probably after about 3 months or so, just to take out a little bit of the dust and the debris and give it a little bit more life. Dust and grit and stuff which gets into the fabric really does speed up its wear. That's what leads to blowouts and so forth. So just keeping it reasonably clean. You don't need to put it through a machine or anything like that, but just a little bit of a soak every now and again. Cold water, doesn't need anything more than that. And then probably every 6 months I go for a sort of detergent wash. Always bathtub, never put quality denim in the washing machine. I know some people do. I don't like it myself. If you are going to do it, always turn it inside out, otherwise you get horrible tracking marks. It's just ruins your jeans. But always bathtub, 30-40 degrees, a little bit of gentle detergent. Quite often use Woolite Dark. Just helps, very limited bleach, just helps keep the depth of colour, so you get that contrast as things fade. But yeah, really easy to live with. These are in a narrow taper, so a fairly comfortable cut, but keeping that sort of nice tight silhouette that personally I really enjoy. A little bit of taper down to the cuff from the knee, not too much, but really easy to live with. And also another thing which I've found really helped make these easy to live with was going for a slightly more generous waist. So I said this in my original review, this year I decided to go for comfort. I always used to go down a size and just battle that extra inch out the waistband. Just, life's too short for that. I really just don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be uncomfortable. So historically I always found my sort of sweet spot to be about 35 inches real measurement on the waist. These were a 34 tag. They came in at 35 straight away. They've barely stretched out at all because I just haven't put that sort of stretch into them. In fact, I've worn these faithfully with a belt just to stop the waist stretching out any more than I want it to. So comfortable from the get-go, slightly more generous cut, nice and roomy in the thigh. Just going for some close-ups. First of all, the denim. So this is the 15.7 ounce double black denim, sulfur dyed, slow fading, or relatively slow fading. But as you can see, that contrast is coming in. Some nice beginnings of whiskers, certainly on this side where I tend to sort of carry stuff in my pocket. There's a little pop in the corner there where my phone sits. But yeah, starting to show that character through. little lightnings on the edges of the pockets, down the edge of the seam there. Always like these little details because these are the first things you'll see. Give you a little hint of what's to come. Nice black hardware, no changes there. Slight, in fact quite nice tarnishing on the copper rivets, so that's starting to show its character. So some bluey sort of oxidised pops there. On the inside of the pocket here, I've shown you this in the original videos, but you've got the selvage detail with the ears out either side. Always like the little details like that. Now I've worn this with a belt, so you can start seeing the wear along the waistband from where the belt's rubbed. Looking pretty good. On the inside, not a huge amount to report. Maybe some slight dulling and tarnish on the rivets on the inside of the pocket. You've got these nice patterned jacquard fabric pocket liners with the MOMOTARO peach logo stitched into them. No real colour rub off on those on the inside. If these were indigo jeans, they would be bright blue. So that dye, that black dye, is pretty much fixed in there. Really good stitching, no issues at all, as one would expect. Coming down a little bit, a lot more fading going on around the crotch area where there's lots of friction as I walk, and then running down the inside seam. Now these pink inseams, a little bit of an acquired taste. I quite like them, but I like them even more as things mellow. So initially the contrast is really strong. They're completely colour fast. I've never seen any of these pink stitches fade themselves, but as the denim around them loses a bit of its dye, I think that just softens it all up. Really like that. Just moving down to the thigh. Not sure whether you can pick this up. There's slight greying, and you've got that sort of vertical checking. Certainly on the knee, you've got some nice grey threads coming through. Enjoy that. Nothing much to speak about on the edges at the knee. Sometimes you get nice little pops as the fabric ruckles up, if you will. Now I've worn these cuffed, so these were a 32.5-inch inseam. I don't like stacks particularly, so I would probably go for a 31.5 if I didn't want to cuff them, but 32.5 cuffed is absolutely fine. Looks great with boots or low-rise trainers. Now on the bottom here, because I've kept the cuffing in exactly the same position, there is quite a lot of wear. Few little, I wouldn't say blowouts, but little sort of areas where the threads popping off, and quite a lot of fading around the edge there. Nice little bit fade on the selvage seam there where it's rubbed against my boot or shoe. So that's a double cuff. Quite like the fading around the edge there. Just going around to the back, one thing I really like about the early days of a pair of jeans fading is just seeing those first indications around the edge of the pocket, around the seam at the back rise, the back loop here. These are all areas which are sort of high wear, and it's just really nicely sort of greying up around here. Really enjoying how this is aging. Initially, these going to battle stripes are really strong white coloration. I mean, on camera they look very white as well, but they're starting to show those little areas where the sort of rubberized ink has sort of popped off. In real life, maybe I've got the lighting up too high, but in real life these are sort of greying out quite nicely. A little bit more subtle details, and obviously the contrasting denim around them is also greying, so you've got that sort of slight dulling of the white, the fading of the grey, it's all sort of blending into one. Now, one area where I haven't seen much evolution is the honeycombs on the backs of the knee. Really quite slow to fade up there. On camera it looks like there's a decent amount of contrast, but in real life it's still quite slow there, so sulfur dye doesn't give up its secrets too quickly. But on the inside you'll see quite a lot more fading, and I think it's the way that the warp and weft threads have been selected. So I think the outer layer, whether that's warp or weft I never quite remember, but that I think is dyed through to the core. On the inside, the thread that's exposed there, I think it's got a white core still, but we'll just cut in a little shot of that just to show you. But yeah, really, really nice. Very pleased with the evolution on these, and yeah, the fabric's going strong. I reckon we've got another year in these. Well, that pretty much brings us into the review. As I said, lots to catch up on. Review coming up on these lovely jeans from Companion. Very, very pleased with these. Great company to deal with. They'll do exactly what you want. The denim, the cut, stitching, complete custom. Not saying you don't pay for it. It's not cheap stuff, but fantastic. So I'll be doing an update on these before Christmas, hopefully. Got lots of other stuff, lots of boot reviews to catch up on. If you haven't seen my channel before, please check it out. Lots of quality denim, boots, everyday carry, fountain pens, pen knives, that sort of stuff. Do check it out, might share some other common interests. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you've had the MOMOTAROs, the B0105SPs, please share your thoughts on those. If you've had any experience with this double black sulfur dyed denim from MOMOTARO, love to hear how you felt that it faded. I think it's a slow fader, but I really think it's worth the effort, and yeah, there's no sense that there's any blowouts where it counts, and yeah, I look forward to probably having another year with these as a main project jean. So that's about it. Love to see you for the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.